Hey there, I'm Jeremy Wolf with Fleet Owner here with Steve Tam, Vice President with ACT Research in Columbus for the Market Vital Seminar. Steve, thanks for taking the time to talk with me. I'd like to ask you a little bit about the commercial vehicle market and how things are feeling and what we're hearing today.
Jeremy, you're welcome. Glad to be here, and fire away.
So, new commercial vehicles, thinking Class 8 trucks more specifically, what's going on? What's demand like and what's supply looking like lately?
Yeah, so on the demand side, we are definitely seeing, I'll call it waning demand. If you look at orders over the last 6, 8, 12 months, it's been a downhill slope. A couple things driving that. Freight growth has been elusive, and so there's not as much motivation to purchase equipment or to order equipment. I think the other piece that factors into that is that in the tariff environment that we're in, manufacturers aren't certain what pricing is going to look like for new equipment. And if I'm ordering today for delivery in, let's say, 6 months, that's a big unknown. And so there's not, as what I would term, a hardest sell from the manufacturer's perspective. Once they get some certainty, they'll get back on that horse and be back out, beating the bushes for customers and trying to improve the demand situation. But for now, this is the world that we're in.
And what do we think certainty is going to look like? Is it going to be that tariffs are here to stay? I hear a lot of people are saying that that's very likely the case.
I think that's the general industry consensus, that we'll see some level of tariff. It's what that percentage is and what's impacted. We have a Section 232 investigation ongoing right now that potentially could add a 25% tax to the cost of a finished vehicle imported from Mexico. That could be bad news for the industry in some regards. So yeah, it's further clarity on the important details, like how much and what and when.
And with so many vehicles likely pushing off some of their cycles with these vehicles and they're getting older, is demand going to ramp up pretty quickly when it does?
That's an interesting question. From a vehicle age, from a vehicle maintenance cost perspective, from just trying to keep in that sweet spot, it would suggest that we would see a ramp in demand. But then we also have to frame that in the context of the current business and economic conditions. I mentioned soft freight markets. So among the for-hire segment of the population, profit levels are at generational lows. And so even though I might need to replace a truck or want to replace a truck, I might not be able to afford to replace a truck, or may choose not to afford to replace a truck. The reality is we'll see ongoing demand, but we'll probably see it at a diminished or lower level.
Okay, and looking at the used truck market, what are supply and demand looking like there right now?
I'm happy to report that there's some good news in that regard. June was the first month that we've seen year-over-year price increases in used Class 8 equipment in 24 months or 30 months, so quite some time. Basically, since we've been riding down the backside of the roller coaster or hill in those COVID-induced heady high prices. So that's a positive, and I attribute that to a couple of things. First off, we're incrementally taking capacity out of the marketplace over time. It's not a rapid change. It's almost an evaporation of capacity, I guess. At the same time, even though the freight markets aren't growing wildly, we do still have a percentage point and a half of growth in that space. So slowly but surely, we're chomping away at that excess capacity, and that's what's supporting the demand side. Because we've seen slower orders on the new truck side, lower production, lower sales, we've stemmed the flow of trucks into used truck inventory. And so simple economics 101, supply and demand says prices are about to increase. So.
All right, thank you, Steve, for taking the time to talk with me.
You're welcome, glad to do it.